Hi, everybody. Welcome to Applying Yourself, a law school admissions podcast from Washington University School of Law in St. Louis. My name is Claire O'Brien, Senior Director of Admissions at WashU Law. I have been in this role for 3 years and been at WashU Law School for 6. And I'm sad to say it, but this is going to be my last episode as Senior Director. I am staying with the university, but in a different capacity. But really good news here. I'm excited to announce my successor, Allison Smith. So Allison is coming in. She will be serving as the Senior Director of Admissions, and she currently works in the Career Center at WashU Law School. And so I wanted to take this time to introduce Allison to our listeners, interview Allison in an informal way, and just so you all can get to know Allison before the cycle begins. And on a personal note, Allison is one of my good friends. We started in the Career Center
That's
together.
Right.
We have kids who are the same age. Allison practiced law as well, which she's going to tell us a little more about. So, and she's a lot of fun and very smart and cares, and it's going to be great for WashU Law School Admissions Office. So, Allison, it's so good to talk with you. Thanks for being here today. Maybe let's start from the beginning. Can you talk about tell us about your education. Let's do this. Yeah, where you went to undergrad, major, and when you decided law was the path for you.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for having me, Claire. I am thrilled to join the admissions team at WashU Law School. I've been with WashU for 5 years, and as Claire said, over in the Career Center, where Claire and I first met as colleagues, and excited to be coming over to admissions. So my collegiate education journey actually started here at WashU.
Woohoo!
So yeah,
Go Bears!
I am an institutional alum of Washington University. So I came from a smaller town in rural Illinois and came to WashU in the fall of 2005. And it was
a different time then, wasn't it?
It was.
Yes.
And it was a fantastic experience. Coming to WashU was an amazing experience. It changed my life. I'm grateful every day to the admissions office in the undergraduate institution for giving me the opportunity. And one of the motivators for joining the admissions office here at the law school is to do the same for other hopeful law students. So can't say enough good things about WashU. So he was here for undergrad from 2005 to 2009. During that time, I studied political science. So as a political science major, as is common among many lawyers my age, had amazing opportunities provided at WashU through the courses that I took, the activities I was involved in. Not only did I love WashU, I love the city of St. Louis. So as I mentioned earlier, I came to St. Louis from Illinois, and coming to St. Louis was a little like coming to the big city, and loved it. Thought that it was an amazing city with great opportunities. I loved the outdoor opportunities.
Yes.
Forest Park, I think a walk in Forest Park is about the best way to clear your head out there. And loved the city, loved the opportunities that were available at WashU. As far as why law school and when law school, during my junior year at WashU, through an organization that I was involved in at WashU, I began volunteering with a nonprofit that worked with victims of domestic and intimate partner violence.
Interesting.
Yes, and through that opportunity and through that experience, I was exposed to the legal issues that were involved in the orders of protection and in the court system and the different ways that the legal system played into serving victims of intimate partner violence. And that's really what sparked my interest. I had the opportunity to be a crisis line volunteer answering phone calls at Legal Advocates for Abused Women, which has been absorbed by the Crime Victim Advocacy Center here in St. Louis, and just worked under inspiring attorneys, both the attorneys that worked there and the attorneys who were volunteering their time from firms in town. And so that's what sparked my interest in law school. So fast forward a couple years, I went to law school at Notre Dame here in the Midwest. It was a great experience. I loved it, but certainly missed WashU when I was gone, and so have come full circle now after practicing at a large law firm for 6 or 7 years, came back and am excited to be in St. Louis.
Okay, so a couple follow-up questions to this. So when you came to WashU in 2005, did you have a Facebook account at that point or not?
Oh, this is such a good question. So right when I came. So I think it was in like August of 2005 that WashU was added to the Facebook network. I don't know if any of our listeners are WashU alums from that era. You may be able to correct me on the exact month, but I feel like it was right before we started. My older sister went to a different university. She was a year ahead of me, and her university had access to Facebook sooner. So I remember being envious, but thrilled that by the time I stepped foot on campus, I had a Facebook page.
What about okay, so then you worked with domestic violence issues. So when you went to law school, were you like, I think this is what I'm going to do? And I'm going to say the spoiler alert, which you didn't end up doing. So I guess the question would be, did you enter law school with a different career path than what you ultimately ended up doing?
I did. So I think similar to a number of law students, I was inspired by a public sector career. I was inspired by the law's ability to help people. And when I came into law school, I saw that in a very limited way, right? So I saw lawyers helping individuals in the domestic court system. I saw prosecutors, public defenders had a little bit of a limited understanding of law in the way that the law helped people, helped communities. And as I went through law school, I still was motivated by an interest to serve clients and to be involved in what was hopefully making communities and the world a better place. But I saw for myself that was a broader definition. So as I spent my second summer summering at a large law firm in the Southeast, and through that experience, I was able to see that, of course, I wouldn't ever compare big law work, say that it was similar to work at a nonprofit, but did see that there were opportunities for students who were motivated to make a difference and to make change, for that to play out in different ways. And because of the different factors that are involved in making a career decision, financial, geographic, partners. I had a partner that was in medical school, so finances were important. For me, made a decision to go into to big law after graduation.
And then with big law, you did transactions, right? Transactional work?
I did regulatory compliance, so a bit of a crossover practice group between the litigation and the corporate practice groups.
So would you work with clients to make sure they were compliant, or you saw them after they were not compliant?
Both. And there were fun aspects to both sides. What I did, I mostly worked with large non-bank and bank mortgage servicers, and was working on compliance with CFPB regulations, with SCRA, kind of alphabet soup, we called it. So working on the different laws and the regulations that were in place to protect consumers and to ensure that our clients were operating in a legal way.
What was your favorite part about working at Bradley?
Oh, I think my favorite part was my colleagues. So I didn't know anyone when I moved to Birmingham except for my partner, and was a little bit nervous. I was coming from a Midwestern law school, was going into a Southeastern market, didn't have a lot of connections or people I knew down there, and just cannot say enough positive things about my colleagues. I think those people are the people that really showed me that there was a place for me at a large law firm, even though that wasn't why I went to law school initially. But to this day, I admire the partners and the associates that I worked with. I often think about the lessons that I learned while I was working at Bradley.
Yes.
I repeat some of those lines in my head. And this evening, I'm actually have an opportunity to have drinks with a former colleague who's in town for a St. Louis-based client.
Oh, that's awesome.
So would say that the people far and away were the best part of working at Bradley.
It's really true. I feel like you can do any type of work if you like the people you're doing it with. Like
that has been my experience, yeah.
What about, so what's one piece of advice? I know you advise law students for 1L job search, 2L job search, post-grad search. I imagine this audience that is listening to this podcast are coming into law school or thinking about law school.
Sure.
What would the advice be that you would give to them in terms of know this, like you're coming to law school, know this about the job search?
Oh, that's a good one. I think the one thing that I would want students who are coming into law school to know about the job search is how early it starts. Even in the 5 years that I've been in the Career Center at WashU, we've seen it move up earlier and earlier. When I was in law school, I think it was very normal to come to law school to really get your bearings and to kind of start searching for your 1L summer job over like spring break. Maybe not that late, but pretty late. And what we see now is that it starts for some of our students before they've even stepped foot on campus. So the Career Center is meeting with, we're meeting with the students that have been admitted. We are putting students in touch with alums. We're talking to students about their resume. So it starts really early. That would be one thing that I would want students to know so it wasn't a surprise.
And is this both? Would you say public interest and firm?
Yes, I think so. So while the postings may not be open as early in the public sector, so we may not see that students are actually hitting send on an application, I just define the job search very broadly. So when I say the job search starts early, I would be thinking of networking. I would be thinking of preparing materials, taking advantage of opportunities, growing your knowledge base, learning more about different types of law. And so with that definition of job search, I would say it starts early for students across all sectors.
So another question we get on the admission side is, are grades the end all be all for my job search? Like, I know that historically, there's things about 1L grades matter 100% of resulting in 1L employment. Is that true? Can you talk to us about that? Your thoughts on grades and their effect on the job search?
That's a great question. I hear that a lot also from students in the Career Center. And my experience has been that employers are looking at the whole candidate. So grades are a piece of the puzzle. That said, grades open doors. So I always think of a student's candidacy like as if it were different levers, and the more turned up one lever is, the lower another one can be. So I think if a student has fantastic experience working prior to law school, or has an amazing undergraduate GPA, or a list of accomplishments from undergrad that are just phenomenal, then I think they're given a little bit of breathing room on how important that first semester or first year GPA is to their whole person candidacy. But I think if you have a very high GPA after your first year, maybe you have a little breathing room on the other things. So I would say that what we hear over and over again from employers is that they are looking at the whole candidate. They're looking at a candidate's desire to do that type of work. They're looking backwards. They're looking at a candidate's skills, demonstrated interest, and they're looking forward. They're looking at a candidate's goals, what they're hoping to do, the contribution they want to make, and again, are taking into account the whole candidate.
And I think this is why this transition is going to be pretty seamless for you, is because as you're talking, I'm thinking the same thing is true that I've seen the admissions committee do, right? Like I've observed the admissions committee talking about kind of the lever idea.
Yeah.
This candidate doesn't have the strongest LSAT, but look at their work experience or look at their campus involvement.
Sure.
So really the same is true in both spheres.
It is. I think it's absolutely true. So as you're looking at candidates and you're looking for students that are going to add value to the WashU Law School community and experience, employers are looking for students who are going to add value to their organization, whether it's a mission-based organization or whether it's a revenue generation organization. They're looking for students that are going to add value. And so I think for those students that are applying to law school or applying to jobs, kind of focusing on the way that you can contribute and can add value is the name of the game on both sides.
And Allison, we've talked about some trends or some things that you've seen trending in the Career Center, and one being the earlier recruitment timeline, just how early it starts. What about in light of the Supreme Court decision in this summer, so outlawing affirmative action, do we still see like LCLD programs, like diversity hiring like we did, or has that changed as a result of that decision, or what are you seeing in that sphere?
Yeah, so we're seeing that things are still up in the air. Some things are still changing. But what we are seeing is LCLD programs still exist, LCLD scholars. Lots of firms and organizations have diversity programs. What we are seeing is sometimes a change in the definition. So instead of prompts that focus on a student's diversity being, who they are or a characteristic that they can put into a checkbox, perhaps the prompts are looking for what a student can contribute and what their appreciation and commitment to diversity is. And so we're definitely, it's something that we're watching and that we're seeing change over time, but we're absolutely seeing that our employers are committed to recruiting and to employing students with diverse backgrounds, diverse mindsets, diverse ways that they're going to contribute.
And again, that's another parallel in admissions. I feel like schools are also committed in the same vein, and it may be instead of a diversity statement, right? It's they're looking at the same characteristics, but in a but in a different, not just race and ethnicity in that way.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what are you most excited about coming over to admissions?
I'm excited for a variety of reasons, but I think my lived experience that I shared a little bit of earlier is probably what I am the most excited to see that a similar experience for other students. So when I came to WashU, it was really a dream come true. It's a place where I learned to embrace a growth mindset. It's a place where I learned from so many of my classmates and so many of my professors and just people that I encountered in my experience at WashU really changed my life, changed the way I thought about things, changed the way I interacted with other people. And so to be part of the process that allows students that opportunity at the law school level is really inspiring to me, and I think is really motivating.
What do you think makes the most successful law students once they're here? What traits, what characteristics, who do you see getting the jobs, getting involved, thriving at the law school?
I think students who communicate often succeed very well. That's a little bit self-serving because in the Career Center, we're always looking for students to be engaging with us. We want them to be reading our communications. We want them to be letting us know. But I really do see that students that are engaging with their professors, so engaging with their classmates, engaging with the student services offices, are the most successful. So I would focus on being a open and effective communicator, and I think that'll really help shape a great experience.
That's awesome. Well, I'm really excited to have you. I know the team is excited to have you in the admissions office. A fair warning, the hardest part of the job is we have so many amazing candidates and such a limited number of seats. I
can imagine that'll be hard.
I wish we had a seat for all the amazing people who apply. But the also exciting and interesting part of the work is the admissions committee is always looking for something different, a different mix of people. So you never know. So we always say apply because it's, as Allison described, the lever methodology of what you don't have here, you may have here, and that could be the very thing the admissions committee is looking for.
Absolutely.
So, I guess I could keep talking, but I guess we'll close it here. Any last words? Any see you out there? Is that what you're telling our listeners?
Yes, see you out there. I am thrilled to be joining the admissions office. Excited to meet with and hear from the amazing applicant pool that I know WashU Law draws. And so excited to come on board.
Well, we're excited, Allison, and thanks so much. We hope to see your application this fall.